I'm excited to be a part of this movement.
It's our time to shine. It's a new start. We're on the field competing for another championship.
You want to talk about Athletes Unlimited? The future is unlimited.
We're gonna start a revolution. We're gonna raise the rising tide. We're gonna start a revolution.
1, 2, 3.
3 up, 3 down.
Strike three. Deja vu for Deja Mulipola. Ball's flying today here in San Diego. Sachel Palacios, a huge grand slam. What a place this Bates. Air Andrews doing her thing. The superstar has returned. Rachel Garcia doing it again. The chase is on now.
This is coming down to the last day.
We're gonna start a revolution. We're gonna blaze the midnight sky. Till the sky burns bright.
Here we go. The excitement level is through the roof for year number 3 of Athletes Unlimited Softball. As you can see over my shoulder, the 4 team captains in their respective draft rooms. There they are, getting ready to make those final preparations. They've been strategizing for an entire offseason. We are going to meet each one of those captains coming up momentarily. And with that, we say hello. Welcome inside our studios. I'm your host, John Brickley, for this Week 1 draft special. And if you're new to Athletes Unlimited, don't worry, there are no set teams for this season. The top 4 point getters each week are named captains and select their team for those games during the week. So a 5-week season, 60 of the best athletes from around the world. Special shout out to all of you right now watching here on YouTube. Like and share with all of your friends. And a special thank you to all of our Unlimited members for your continued support. All right, so here is how the draft itself works. There are 15 players on each team, but the captains represent the first pick for their respective teams. So each captain will select 14 players to form their roster. The draft order will snake, starting with the purple captain, and each captain is going to get 2 minutes per pick. Now, they do have to pick players in a certain category, so when players come into Athletes Unlimited, they have a designated position. The captains must select 4 pitchers, 2 catchers, 3 middle infielders, 3 corner infielders, and 3 outfielders. Now, they can play those players in any position they want once they have them, but they must draft in those categories. All right, so let's meet the top 4 point getters returning this season. You'll notice gold, orange, blue, and purple. Gold being the number 1 point getter, followed by orange, blue, and purple. And so let us meet the captains. And we start with one of the best players last season. 1,338 leaderboard points she amassed while batting .385 for the season with 15 hits, including 2 doubles and a home run. She earned MVP honors last season, a silver medalist for Team USA at the 2017 World Cup of Softball, a former member of the Thundering Herd of Marshall, representing purple, the captain of Team Zirkle, number 18, Morgan Zirkle. And her facilitator this week in the draft room with Morgan is going to be Jen Salling, who you may recall won a bronze medal with Team Canada back in the 2020 Tokyo Games. Up next, this player stood out in the pitching circle, complying close to 1,600 points, along with 1,010 win points. She was named the 2021 Rookie of the Year after finishing 4th on the leaderboard. She was dominant from start to finish, ranked 2nd in the league with 200 MVP points. For blue, captain of Team Eberly, a star in the making for year number 2 for her, number 44, Carrie Eberly. And joining Carrie in the draft room is going to be her facilitator this week, Charlotte Morgan. Up next, she finished 2nd with 1,714 leaderboard points and was tied for 4th in the league with 1,140 win points, along with 434 stat points, which was good for 3rd in the league. She batted .413 on the year, leading the league with 19 hits, 7 home runs, and 41 total bases. A silver medalist at the 2020 Tokyo Games, representing orange this week, the captain for Team Chittister, Amanda Chittister. And her facilitator this week is going to be Tatum Edwards, who, by the way, her twin sister Taylor is going to hear her name called tonight in the Week 1 Draft Special. And lastly, earning the most points last season and your defending champion in Athletes Unlimited. Just under 2,100 total points, pacing the way in the league with 736 stat points and 320 MVP points. Her 2.32 ERA was second in Athletes Unlimited, 6 wins and a league best 55 strikeouts. A former Gator who led Florida to a national championship, the captain of Ocasio. For gold, donning the gold, number 8, Alicia Ocasio. And the facilitator this week for Team Ocasio is going to be Ellie Cooper. All right, so here's how the schedule is going to go down. This is what these captains are drafting for Week 1 starting on Friday on ESPN2 with Team Eberly going up against Team Chittister. Saturday's games available on ESPN+. Sunday, we'll wrap it up with games available on ESPN2. And so here's how the scoring system works. Players earn points in a variety of ways. Win points are all about the team performance. In addition, there are offensive points with a home run earning a player the max of 40 points. There's also pitching points, 4 points for every out, but minus 10 for each run allowed. There's also a total of 3 MVPs that'll be selected following each game by the athletes competing in that game, with the top vote getter earning 60 points, second's going to get 40, and 30 is going to claim 20. So here we go with the captains. Ready to go. We've gone through all the explanations, the final strategy. You see Team Chittister is ready to go, and Team Zirkel has had an entire offseason to wonder what the number 1 pick in this draft is going to be. Let's hear from Morgan.
I'm going to go with pitcher Rachel Garcia.
Okay, so there you have it. Rachel Garcia, the number 1 pick in this year's draft in year number 3 of Athletes Unlimited. There she is, the right-hander out of UCLA with her cause for Women's Sports Foundation. We're going to go through the different type of causes and explain that by each of these players throughout tonight's draft special. But Rachel Garcia, the right-hander pitcher, is going to be the first overall pick. Well, wasting no time, the second pick in the draft goes to Team Eberly. Let's hear from their captain.
Catcher Mia Davidson.
So a pitcher selecting a catcher for her first pick is Team Eberly. Mia Davidson, who, by the way, has been a star coming out of Mississippi State, one of 13 players in Athletes Unlimited softball college draft. And by the way, if you've been following what's been going on over the weekend with the scrimmages, how about 4 home runs for Mia Davidson? Talk about making a statement, having not even stepped on the diamond just yet. But so far, Team Eberly going with a catcher with their first pick. And we move on to Team Chittister, representing Orange. She is ready for her first selection here in round number 1.
Middle infielder, my fiance, Anissa Urtez.
Well, there we go. Keeping it close to home is Team Chittister. The first pick for her out of Long Beach, California, Anissa Urtez, who had a sensational season last year, just under 1,400 leaderboard points, was also the reigning Geico Defensive Player of the Year, part of Team Mexico in the 2020 Olympics, and there she is. Urtez joining in on the draft room. You'll notice after a player is selected, they will go into their respective draft rooms for the entire draft. All right, rounding out the first round, Team Ocasio, the defending champion, ready to go with her first pick of the night.
Pitcher Danielle O'Toole.
So another pitcher, this time going to Team Ocasio. 2 pitchers, Ocasio and O'Toole so far, right-hander and a left-hander, the first 2 there. Again, the captains have already been selected, so they have to pick 14 other teammates to round out their respective team of 15. But O'Toole out of Arizona taken to round out the first round. And there is Danielle O'Toole coming into the draft room for Team Ocasio, part of the Golds. And so let's take a look at the first round. And so it started off with Rachel Garcia, followed by Anissa Ortez, Mia Davidson, and Danielle O'Toole to round out the first round. Alicia's standing by already. Here we go with round number 2. First selection for her.
Catcher, Gwen Svekis.
All right, so Gwen Svekis coming off the board. She was tied for 5th with 140 MVP points last year. Really hit well at the plate. 347, playing in 14 of 15 games, ranking among Oregon's career leaders in runs batted in, home runs, and in walks. So as we saw with Team Eberly earlier, taking a catcher, here we see Team Ocasio taking a catcher as well to start off round number 2. Team Chittister standing by, ready to go with her first selection of round number 2.
Outfielder, Haley McClenny.
So Haley McClenny is going to be donning the orange coming up in week 1. She'll be joining her teammate in Ortez out of Alabama. Her cause, the Trevor Project. And she was sensational at the plate as well. 378 batting average, and she is pumped up to be wearing the orange this week as she joins in on the draft room. And now those players have a chance to help the captain and facilitator work on the rest of the roster here in week number 1. Team Eberly standing by with their second round pick.
Middle infielder, Hannah Flippin.
All right, so a middle infielder taken here by Team Eberly in the second round with the third selection of that second round, Hannah Flippin, who played her college ball at Utah, a second round selection, a middle infielder. So she will join Team Eberly donning the blue, joining in on the draft room for Team Eberly again. Those players drafted join in on the respective draft rooms under their captain and talk with the facilitator to figure out who they want to take. And here's how it pans out in terms of who's available for position. So again, you've got to take 4 pitchers, 3 outfielders, 2 catchers, 3 corner infielders, and 3 middle infielders. And Team Urkel ready to go, and Morgan is standing by with her selection.
I'm going to go with catcher, Deja Mullapola.
So Team Zirkle, Mullapola coming in to finish off the second round for Team Zirkle. Will be wearing the purple uniform this week out of Arizona, coming in to round out round number 2. Another catcher off the board here in the early stages of this week 1 draft special as she enters the draft room for Team Zirkle. Let's take a look at the rosters here through the first 2 rounds. A couple of pitchers along with catchers being taken so far off the board. A lot of talent, a lot of depth throughout for all these teams trying to come away with the top performance of week number 1. And fans, we want to remind you as well, it's time to earn points for watching the draft. You can enter the code on the screen into your Athletes Unlimited app to earn points and move up the leaderboard. To get the app, download it today for free at your app store and get access to great AU content and experiences all season long. And just like that, we're moving on to round number 3. And Team Zirkle, who finished off round number 2, remember it's a snake draft, she has the selection start off round number 3.
I'm going to go with middle infielder, Sydney Romero.
Okay, so Sydney Romero, one of the Romero sisters, available in this year's draft, off the board. A standout at Oklahoma, where she's just coming off a season with the AUX, 1,260 points, batting .325 with a couple of home runs and 9 RBIs. So certainly some offensive firepower joining the lineup for Team Zirkle here to begin round number 3. And that is the Zoom room for Team Zirkle, donning the purple. And you can tell their Captain Morgan certainly happy that Sydney was available. And we move on to Team Eberly, who is selecting second here in this third round.
Add in a little lefty to the mix with pitcher Haley Wagner.
All right, so there we go. Haley Wagner off the board, taken by Team Eberly. Shaking things up here a little bit out of Michigan, a native of Orange, California. The left-hander will be joining Eberly in the pitching circle. So far, catcher, middle infielder, and a pitcher selected by Team Eberly here through their first 3 rounds. As she joins in on the draft room with Team Eberly, and you'll see the players communicating with one another, whether it be through texts, DMs, even the Slack channel as well. So we're going to see what they're going to be communicating with, and this is what they're looking at right now, the draft board of the players that are available specific to their specific position so far. So a middle infielder and a pitcher as well, outfielders, catchers, corner infielders, a number of middle infielders still available on the board right now here in week 1 of the Athletes Unlimited softball season. And again, you must select 4 pitchers, 2 catchers, 3 middle infielders, 3 corner infielders, and 3 outfielders. And as mentioned before, they can play any position once the captain has selected them, but they must draft them, the captains do, in those specific categories. And while we wait for the next selection, a reminder, here's what the week 1 schedule looks like for Athletes Unlimited. Team Eberly and Team Chittister, you're going to start things off in the 7 o'clock hour on Friday on ESPN2, followed by Team Ocasio and Team Zirkle, followed by games on Saturday and Sunday. Team Chittister taking about almost all of the 2 minutes to make this selection as we stand by and hear from their team captain.
Middle infielder Sierra Romero.
So the other
Go blue.
Romero sister is off the board. Another impressive performance for her in the AUX season, had a .409 batting average with 18 hits. In fact, had the first home run in AUX softball history. And let's say Sierra, Sydney, it goes even more with their brother Michael, who is going to be joining LSU. Take a look at the draft room for Team Chittister. And Sierra Romero is off the board, and she will be wearing orange this coming week. And to wrap up, the final pick of round number 3 for gold, Team Ocasio is standing by with her selection.
I will choose outfielder, my Gator sister, Amanda Lorenz.
All right, chomping at the bit. Florida Gators wearing more gold this week as Ocasio staying close to home with her teammate Amanda Lorenz, who's playing for the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. She will now be joining up with Team Ocasio as the final pick of round number 3. And just some background on Lorenz. She earned 11th place in the leaderboard standings last year with just over 1,400 points. Was one of 3 outfielders named to the inaugural Athletes Unlimited Softball All-Defensive Team. And while we have a chance, fans, don't miss your chance to see the excitement of Athletes Unlimited Softball in person, in Rosemont, Illinois. Tickets are available at auprosports.com/tickets. And all games can be played at the Parkway Bank Sports Complex there in Rosemont. And so with the snake draft, the 4th round continues now, and Team Ocasio will start off round number 4 with her selection.
Middle infielder, Janae Jefferson.
I could just tell the confidence there. Head nod, she knew where she wanted to go, and 4th round goes underway, and Team Ocasio making the selection. Janae Jefferson out of Texas will be coming on board, wearing gold this week for the first week of Athletes Unlimited softball season, and you can tell the excitement is there for Jefferson joining the likes of Lorenz and O'Toole and Zvakis. So the first middle infielder for Team Ocasio taken here for the start of round number 4. So as we wait for Team Chittister to make her selection, here's a look so far at how the teams have shaped out. And Team Chittister has 2 infielders and an outfielder thus far. We saw both the Romero sisters come off the board as well. The number 1 pick taken by Team Zirkle to start things off, Rachel Garcia. So there you have it so far. Mia Davidson also taken by Team Eberly in that first round, the 3rd overall pick. And the second pitcher we saw taken off the board by Team Ocasio to round out the first round was the left-hander Danielle O'Toole. So again, all 4 captains have 2 minutes per pick. They strategize with their facilitator. Other players who are drafted go into that respective Zoom room. They chat via text, DM, whatever it may be, the Slack channel as well, to try to gauge where the best advantage comes from with the best player available on the board. And as we say that, Team Chittister is ready. Let's hear from their team captain. Amanda Chittister is set to go with her selection.
I'm going to go pitcher, Peyton St. George.
So another middle infielder taken off the board, this time Peyton St. George selected to wear orange. Pitcher, excuse me, not middle infielder, my apologies, as she comes out of Duke. And so the first pitcher for Team Chittister is off the board here in round number 4. And she will join the draft room and will be wearing orange for week number 1. So thus far, Team Chittister has gone with a pair of middle infielders, an outfielder, and now their first pitcher selected in round number 4. Team Eberly is standing by with her first pick here in round number 4.
Outfielder, Victoria Hayward.
All right, so outfielder Victoria Hayward is heading to Team Eberly, selected here in round number 4. First outfielder taken here by Team Eberly out of Washington, with a lot of star power still available on the board. And there's the draft room as we take a sneak peek. The facilitator, Charlotte Morgan. You see there Victoria just hopping in on the bottom right-hand corner of your screen. And so now she becomes also an asset for Team Eberly to make the next pick moving on. And while we have a chance, let's take a look at who still remains for each position. So 4 pitchers. Each team must have 3 outfielders, 2 catchers, 3 corner infielders, and 3 middle infielders. And while the captains continue to strategize, plan out the rest of this draft, still a lot of great names still available on the board in a variety of positions. Lily Piper, who was a captain last year, Abby Ramirez. And while we have a chance, let's take a look inside the draft room for Team Zirkle. Facilitator along with those players who have already been selected by Morgan Zirkle. He took overall number 1, Rachel Garcia. Deja Molapola, a catcher, and an infielder, Sydney Romero, were taken for her first 3 selections. And again, as this draft goes along, it works as a snake draft. So Team Zirkle, who had number 1, went all the way down to number 4 with Team Ocasio, who then selected number 1 to begin the second round. That is how this draft works out the rest of the way. So the lineups are continuing to be built. Close out round number 4. Team Zirkle is standing by with their selection to round out the 4th round.
Pitcher, Taylor McQuillan.
Okay, so another pitcher is off the board, this time heading to Team Zirkle. Going to be wearing the purple. And Taylor McQuillan out of Arizona, with her cause being Mia Stokes Foundation. And we talk about those causes that each player plays for that you see at the bottom of your screen. Well, each player is playing for a specific charity cause, with half their leaderboard bonus is matched and donated, which is great to hear and see. And a credit to all these different players as Taylor sneaks into the draft room, another lefty in the pitching circle. This time is heading to Team Zirkle wearing purple, as that will round out the 4th round. Still a long way to go for these respective captains looking to try to build up with the best players still available. And if you're new to Athletes Unlimited, this is what's great about this league, is the fact that each week the same team is not constructed. Each team is differently constructed each week based on the captains who pick their team, one of 15 each week. The captain and then the 14 others who round out the 15 for the respective teams, so a total of 60 athletes. As we wait and continue through the top of this 5th round, as we continue through looking at the different lineups for Team Ocasio, along with Team Eberly, Team Chittister, and Team Zirkle. All right-handers still available in terms of pitchers. You've got a lot of veterans, certainly in the outfield and in the catcher spot as well, and a number of talented players still available for these teams, whether it be in the corner infield or in the middle infield. And with round number 5 is ready to go, Team Zirkle, part of this snake draft, is ready to go with her first selection of round number 5.
Catcher, Savannah Jaquish.
So catcher, Savannah Jaquish is off the board, who last year was tied for 4th in win points. She compiled 1,570 leaderboard points with a slugging percentage of 714, along with a 333 batting average. She too was a captain a number of times last year, so you can imagine the type of experience that someone like Morgan Zirkle is going to be relying upon, as she now is officially in the draft room for Team Zirkle, wearing the purple this week. And also brings a lot of power as well to the plate. She led Athletes Unlimited last season with 16 runs scored while belting 4 home runs. So there's some power not only behind the plate, but also at the plate. And so 2 catchers fulfills the requirement for Team Zirkle. So this is how Athletes Unlimited softball works. Just an overview of the league. You've got 60 of the best world-class athletes participating in the league with, as I mentioned off the top of the show, an innovative scoring system. The top 4 point leaders, again, the top 4 point leaders are weekly team captains. And as we continue with this 5th round, Team Eberly, wearing the blue, is standing by ready to make her selection.
I'm going to go with corner infielder Sam Fisher.
So corner infielder Sam Fisher is heading to Team Eberly. The first corner infielder selected here by Team Eberly. She'll be wearing the blue, Sam Fisher, with her cause being 100 Club of Arizona. So thus far, a good variety taken by Team Eberly, as she now does Sam officially join in on the draft room for Team Eberly, helping not only the facilitator, Charlotte Morgan, but also her captain, Carrie Eberly, in which direction this team wants to go with the remaining rounds still available. And just a reminder as well, all these captains have 2 minutes per pick, and so Team Chittister wasting no time, ready to go with her selection.
Catcher, Erica Piancastelli.
I always love the surprise by Amanda when we go to her getting ready to make her selection. Dana Castelli, the catcher, is going to be joining here at Team Chittister. A lot of power with a native of Italy coming over from McNeese State, with her cause being Morgan's message. And you can tell Amanda is excited to see Erica coming over and wearing the orange this week. No doubt that she is going to be an impact player and potentially a steal for Team Chittister in the 5th round. And you can tell right there, Amanda talking with the rest of her teammates, facilitator as well, through various forms of communication, wondering what direction do we go from round 6 through 14 to put us in the best position to come away with the best record over the week, and potentially maybe even repeating as captain in week number 2. That's the goal for Team Chittister. So as we wait for Team Ocasio to wrap up round number 5, here is who available. Only 3 catchers still remain. Still a handful, though, of outfielders available for these respective captains, a number of corner infielders as well as middle infielder. One player in particular, Sis Bates, who put up almost 1,500 leaderboard points. That was 9th in the league last season. So here is how it has shook up so far as we wait for Team Ocasio to wrap up round number 5. Again, it's a snake draft, so the draft started with Team Zirkle with the number 1 overall pick being Rachel Garcia. After that, it was Team Chittister going with Anissa Ortez, Mia Davidson wearing the blue for Team Eberly, and Danielle O'Toole, the lefty in the pitching circle, taken by Team Ocasio. Alicia Ocasio, the defending champion, taking a fellow pitcher to round out round number 1. So we continue to wait on Team Ocasio to wrap up round number 4. There are the 4 respective captains who have been working their way to orchestrate and architect what they hope to be is the best team for the week. And it gets a little bit more challenging once you go through the latter rounds because you have the automatic drops. Each team, as I've mentioned before, 4 pitchers, 2 catchers, 3 outfielders, 3 corner infielders, 3 middle infielders. Those are the requirements to build up your 15-player team for the week. So these captains right now are working with their facilitator. They are working with those players that they have selected, taking in all different types of questions and strategies to figure out which team is built to make the deepest run. And while we say that, Team Ocasio is standing by, ready to wrap up round number 5 with her pick.
Middle infielder, Sis Bates.
And there we go. I mentioned Sis Bates was still on the board. And Team Ocasio grabbing her to round out round number 5. The inaugural Geico AUX softball defensive MVP out of Washington is heading to Team Ocasio to wear the gold for week number 1. And man, look at the excitement for Team Ocasio picking up Sis Bates. One of those players you can rely on your team who started in all 15 games. She hit just under .330 with 14 hits. Coming over again with her days in Washington where she was the all-time leader in hits. And she is now a member of Team Ocasio. So now the captain, Alicia Ocasio, along with her facilitator and the rest of the team in that draft room strategizing which direction they want to go to start off round number 6. Here is who's been drafted. Team Ocasio, Team Eberly, Team Chittister, and Team Zirkle in the snake draft. Team Ocasio ended round number 5, and they begin round number 6, and they are ready to go with their selection.
Okay, I literally have to say my draft pick like right now. No, I need you guys to like.
So Team Ocasio is still working through the details of who they want to take to begin round number 6. Again, the defending champion in Athletes Unlimited. There is the draft room along with the facilitator and those players taken by Team Ocasio. And we are ready to go for round number 6 with the first pick selected by Team Ocasio.
Pitcher, Sarah Groenewegen.
Okay, so another pitcher taken by Team Ocasio. Her third, including herself, Groenewegen, a native of British Columbia, who played her college ball at Minnesota, with Morgan's Message being her cause, I should say. And so she begins round number 6. And after Team Ocasio has made their selection, Team Chittister, with the second pick of this 6th round, is ready to go. Thumbs up here for Amanda. Let's hear from their team captain.
Pitcher, Sydney Littlejohn Watkins.
All right, here we go. I see the theme happening right now in round number 6. It's all about the pitchers. Sydney Littlejohn Watkins out of Alabama, with her cause being King Wolf Animal Sanctuary. She is taken here in round number 6. So back-to-back pictures selected for the first 2 picks of round number 6. And high fives and claps and waves all around in the draft room for Team Chittister. The second pitcher selected who will be orange this week, wearing orange, in week number 1 of year 3 for Athletes Unlimited softball season. And so standing by Team Eberly, we're standing by with their pick, the third pick of the 6th round. And here's the roster for Team Eberly as we wait for Carrie Eberly to make her selection. She went with Mia Davidson in her first selection in round number 1. Hannah Flippen, Haley Wagner, along with Victoria Hayward and Sam Fisher. Again, Mia Davidson, if you just joined us, had an impressive scrimmage over the weekend. 4 home runs making her debut this coming weekend, with games Friday, Saturday, and Sunday available both on ESPN2 and on ESPN+. Carrie Eberly, the reigning Rookie of the Year, one of the top 4 point getters from last season. That's how it works in Athletes Unlimited. The top 4 point getters are named captains as you take a look inside the draft room for Team Eberly. Again, 2 minutes per pick for each captain. Thumbs are up, ready to go, and let's get to Carrie Eberly standing by with her selection here in round number 6.
Pitcher, Odyssey Alexander.
How about that? 3 picks, 3 pitchers in round number 6. 4 pitchers for each team. That is the requirement in Athletes Unlimited as part of the 15-team roster, with Alexander having come out of James Madison. So Alexander, along with Wagner and Eberly herself, all pitchers, with Alexander and Eberly both being righties. Wagner, one of just a few lefties that were available. She was taken in round number 3 by Team Eberly, but it'll be Alexander wearing blue for round number 6, and that leaves Team Zirkle with the final pick of round number 6. She'll have back-to-back picks because of the snake draft. So Morgan's got some time to really work on whether or not she wants to go for a pitcher, catcher, outfielder. She still has some flexibility coming up, so she'll have the last pick in round number 7, or I should say in round number 6, and then the first pick in round number 7. So we have seen so far a great depth of talent already taken. What about the players that are still available? As mentioned, just only 3 catchers are still on the board, and you see the pitchers, after 3 straight taken in the 6th round, only 6 are available. Outside of that, you've got a number of outfielders, corner infielders, and a number of middle infielders. Team Zirkle with the final pick of round number 6. Let's hear from their captain, Morgan Zirkle.
Outfielder Megan Wiggins.
All right, so the trend is bucked with the final pick of round number 6, with Team Zirkle selecting an outfielder in Megan Wiggins. And the first outfielder outside of Zirkle taken in this draft by Team Zirkle, wearing purple this week, and she joins in on the draft room for Team Zirkle. And fans, don't forget, we've got a new season, we've got a new look as well, we've got new merch. Be sure to check out all the brand new Athletes Unlimited items. Just go to shop.auprosports.com to purchase yours today. And just like that, we are ready to start round number 7 with the respective captains ready to go. In the bottom right corner of your screen, Team Zirkle picked last in round number 6, about to pick first here in round 7.
I'm going to go with pitcher Shannon Sale.
All right, so pitcher Shannon Sale will be making her way to Team Zirkle to start off round number 7 out of Tampa, Florida, where she played her college at Oklahoma, a Sooner. And so Sale, a righty, is going to be joining along with McQuillan and Garcia, who was the number 1 overall pick. 3 pitchers, 1 still remains part of the requirement for Team Zirkle. But thus far, good balance that we've seen. She knocked out the catchers, 2 catchers, now 3 pitchers as well. Team Eberly is standing by, ready to go. Round number 7, second pick. Let's hear from their team captain.
Outfielder, Jasmine Jackson.
Jasmine Jackson is going to be heading to Team Eberly. The second outfielder, she'll be joined by Victoria Hayward out of San Jose, California. Her cause, Chapter 510. So Jasmine Jackson is off the board, heading to Team Eberly. Will be wearing blue this week in Rosemont, Illinois, and she is excited, joining in on the draft room for Team Eberly. And as while they continue to strategize, Team Chittister wasting no time, ready to go with her selection.
Outfielder, Bubba Nichols.
Bubba Nichols is going to be wearing orange this week for Team Chittister. Taken here in round number 7 out of UCLA, with her cause being Athletes in Action. For Bubba Nichols, the second outfielder selected by Team Chittister. And here we go. The more players selected by these teams as we go later in the round, you're going to see those draft room Zoom chats continue to build up. All 4 captains making their selections, having help from the facilitator, who's almost like their assistant GM. And ready to go. Final pick of round number 7, the defending champ, Alicia Ocasio, ready to make the selection for Team Ocasio.
Corner infielder, Nadia Taylor.
Nadia Taylor off the board, heading to Team Ocasio to round out round number 7. And there she is about to come into the draft room, the corner infielder, the first one selected for Team Ocasio, coming in round number 7. I love the excitement, ladies. You can tell, whether it be Team Ocasio, Team Eberly, Team Zirkel, Team Chittister, all these players, 60 of the best world-class athletes coming into Athletes Unlimited. They are excited to be playing for their respective team and respective color that they will be donning this week, coming up on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, with games available on ESPN2 and on ESPN+. Nadia Taylor, who is in the draft room, rounding out round number 7 as this snake draft continues. Team Ocasio will start off round number 8, and Team Ocasio is ready to go with her selection.
Corner infielder, Tori Vidalis. It just means more, baby.
All right, so a former captain selected in round number 8. Tori Vidalis, who played for Texas A&M, understands the trials and tribulations of what it means to be a team captain, as she joins in on the draft room coming up for Team Ocasio. And with that, the experience necessary for someone like Team Ocasio, the defending champion Alicia Ocasio, certainly is going to be an advantage. And hey, you know what? While we have the chance, want to let you know the Unlimited Club provides great benefits, including voting on league decisions, interaction with players, signed items, and more. For a limited time, join as an MVP level member, and you'll also receive an exclusive Unlimited Club softball t-shirt. For more information or to join today, go to auprosports.com. Team Chittister is standing by with her selection.
Pitcher, Danielle Watson.
All right, so another pitcher is off the board. Danielle Watson is going to be heading to Team Chittister out of Florida State. Alzheimer's Association is her cause, as she is selected in this 8th round. The third pitcher, as she joins in with Team Chittister's draft room. She joins the captain, facilitator, and her fellow teammates to figure out the strategy moving forward the rest of the way for Team Chittister. And as we wait for Team Eberly, here's how it has shaken out thus far for the 4 respective captains and their teams. Again, each team has a captain who must select 14 additional players, 4 pitchers, 2 catchers, 3 outfielders, 3 corner infielders, and 3 midfielders, or 3 middle infielders, I should say, to amass what they would be for the 15-team roster. Team Eberly is standing by and ready to go with their selection.
Corner infielder, Allison Febri.
All right, so after going outfielder in round number 7, Allison Freeby out of Oklahoma State with her cause Play Like a Girl will be wearing the blue this week in week number 1. Here for Athletes Unlimited, the softball season, year number 3. All excitement in that draft room inside Team Eberly. So a corner infielder is off the board along with outfielder Jasmine Jackson. So after taking Mia Davidson number 1 in her selection, the 3rd overall pick, we've seen a good balance of whether it be middle infielders or pitchers, outfielders, and a pair of corner infielders. And so her facilitator, Charlotte Morgan, along with the rest of the team, going through what they want to do the rest of the draft. And so you tell the longer that we go through this draft, the less options there are. You probably are going to see some automatic drops because each team has those specific requirements that they must have. And Team Zirkle is ready to go to close out round number 8.
Pitcher Alyssa Denham.
Alyssa Denham is going to be going with Team Zirkle this week. The righty off the board out of Arizona. And so back-to-back pitchers selected by Team Zirkle. She's already fulfilled the requirement with 2 catchers, including Savannah Jaquish, who herself was a captain last year, so plenty of experience in that draft room for Team Zirkle. And the 4th and final pitcher selected by Team Zirkle that started with the number 1 overall pick in Rachel Garcia. So the rest of the way, it's just corner infielders, middle infielders, and outfielders that Team Zirkle has to worry about in terms of drafting. And for every run scored during this year's Athletes Unlimited softball season, Aspiration is planting 10 trees. Stay tuned throughout the season to see how many trees will be planted thanks to Aspiration's support. And as we wait for Team Zirkle to make their selection, here's the roster as we talked about for Team Zirkle. Has already fulfilled that necessary requirement with the 2 catchers and 4 pitchers. So she only has 3 categories left to go to work and fulfill her team, whether it be a corner infielder, a middle infielder, or an outfielder, just like herself. Team Chittister, along with Team Eberly and Team Ocasio, this is how it's been breaking down for all these teams here in this Week 1 draft special in season number 3. Team Eberly going with some depth as well. We've seen back-to-back pitchers, as I mentioned, from Team Zirkle. Danielle Watson, right-hander, coming off the board for Team Chittister. And thus far, we've seen a good amount of talent off the board. Round number 9, Team Zirkle starts things off. Who do you select to begin the 9th round?
Middle infielder Andrea Filler.
Andrea Filler, middle infielder, selected by Team Zirkle in round number 9, this snake draft. So Team Zirkle, who finished round number 8, starts off round number 9 with Filler out of Northwestern, native of Fort Wayne, Indiana. And the second middle infielder joining Sydney Romero as teammates for Team Zirkle inside the draft room. And it's great to see, especially if you're an Unlimited Club member, that's where you want to be. You get special access to understand what these captains and the facilitators, the players that are drafted, what they're thinking, how they're going to draft the rest of the way, what's the strategy. But again, it's all about filling out those 15-player rosters. And here's the breakdown for Athletes Unlimited softball. You've got to select 4 pitchers. You have to have 2 catchers. And then the rest of the way, 3 middle infielders, 3 corner infielders, and 3 outfielders. Round 9 continues with Team Eberly standing by with her selection.
Catcher Taylor Edwards.
Taylor Edwards, who her twin sister Tatum, a facilitator in this year's draft. She is off the board out of Nebraska, with her cause being the Trevor Project. So the second catcher, who will be joined with Mia Davidson, that fulfills the 2 catcher requirement that is necessary for Athletes Unlimited. She is in on the draft room chat with Team Eberly, selected in the 9th round. Taylor Edwards going to Team Eberly. She'll be wearing the blue this coming weekend out in Rosemont, Illinois. So as we wait for Team Chittister with their 9th round pick, only 3 pitchers are left on the board, only 2 catchers, and then you've got a handful of outfielders and corner infielders and middle infielders. They have picked, Chittister has so far 3 pitchers. So does she fulfill that 4th requirement right now in terms of pitchers? As you see what Amanda Chittister has done this year as the captain for Team Chittister. Last round she went pitcher with Danielle Watson. Will she go in that direction? And this is where the challenge begins, these later rounds for these captains, especially if they're new to being a captain. What do? You have to have those requirements. Could there be an automatic drop put in? This is where they rely heavily, though, on the facilitator and those players that they have drafted this week. Try to help them through the vision and the strategy of what they want their team to look like for their respective week. A 5-week season in Athletes Unlimited softball. And as we look at what Team Chittister has done, let's hear from Amanda standing by with her 9th round selection.
Outfielder Aaliyah Andrews.
Aaliyah Andrews, Air Aaliyah they call her, is off the board for Team Chittister out of LSU. Her cause being the Ronald McDonald House Charities out in Tampa. She finished last year with 1,510 leaderboard points, had a league high 1,200 win points with a .319 batting average. And she will be donning the orange jersey this week for Team Chittister, off the board in round number 9. As Team Chittister, along with the rest of her team and the facilitator, working on the rest of this draft. And in fact, you can talk with Team Chittister's captain in Amanda Chittister in the meet and greet with the Unlimited Club. You can upgrade or join as an MVP or as a captain. That'll be coming up after the draft in the 6 p.m. hour, 5 p.m. Central. And then, of course, once we have the lacrosse draft as well, Taylor Marino will be available in the meet and greet as part of the Unlimited Club access. Again, you can upgrade or join as an MVP or captain to join. Taylor's going to be available to talk with fans coming up in the 8 o'clock hour for lacrosse fans. Team Ocasio is standing by, ready to round out round number 9 with her selection as we stand by and hear from their team captain.
Outfielder Shannon Rhodes.
So Team Ocasio going outfielder for the final selection of round number 9. Shannon Rhodes out of Fort Worth, Texas. Was a Longhorn in her college days. So Shannon is going to be donning that gold jersey this week, and she is psyched and pumped and ready to go, as is the rest of her teammates as she joins in on the draft room for Team Ocasio. Alicia Ocasio, the defending champion, the top point getter last season in Athletes Unlimited, returning for year number 3 here of the softball season. So this is how it's going to start off this coming week with games available Friday through Sunday from Rosemont, Illinois. Team Eberly and Team Chittister is going to take each other on ESPN2, followed by Team Ocasio and Team Zirkle. You can see that game on ESPN+. Saturday's games both available on ESPN+ starting at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time. And then on Sunday, we wrap up the action with another doubleheader on ESPN2 with games at 7 p.m. Eastern and at 9:30 Eastern Time. All right, so that's a look at week 1, the schedule so far. And again, these captains continue to work through these later rounds as we have reached round number 10 of this week 1 draft special. Team Ocasio is standing by with the first pick of round number 10. And let's take a look at who is still available. Those lists for those respective categories continue to dwindle down. Still a number of corner infielders available along with middle infielders, but not the same. Only 3 pitchers, 3 outfielders, and 2 catchers are still on the board for these captains to make, who have 2 minutes each per pick as Team Ocasio has been working hard with their facilitator along with her fellow teammates to try to figure out who they want to take to start off round number 10. And Team Ocasio, round number 10 is about to get underway. Team Ocasio is standing by with the first pick of round number 10.
Catcher, Sashel Palacios.
So Palacios, the catcher, is off the board. Round number 10, Team Ocasio, Sashel Palacios out of Arizona State, with her cause being Morgan's Message. And so the second catcher fulfilling that requirement for Team Ocasio. And that draft room continues to show levels of excitement that we've seen throughout the night. Team Ocasio trying to highlight week number 1 as Team Chittister is ready to go with selection number 2 of round number 10.
Middle infielder, Aubrey Leach.
All right, middle infielder this time is a selection by Team Chittister. Aubrey Leach will be wearing the orange this coming weekend in Rosemont, Illinois, out of Tennessee, so not far-fetched for the Lady Vol, with her cause being the pink fun, keeping it orange themed thanks to Amanda Chittister, her team captain. And with that, round number 10 continues to roll on. So 3 middle infielders selected by Team Chittister. And let's take a look at the respective rosters for all 4 teams as we await Team Eberle's selection in this 10th round. Team Chittister going with Aubrey Leach after Leah Andrews, the talented star out of LSU, in that 9th round. Meanwhile, it all started with Morgan Zirkle's #1 overall pick in Rachel Garcia. Urtez going to Team Chittister. Mia Davidson for Team Eberle, and Danielle O'Toole, the first, or I should say second pitcher, but the first lefty off the board, as Team Eberle is standing by and ready to go with her pick in this 10th round.
Outfielder, Kiki Stokes O'Connor.
Outfielder is the way that Team Eberle wants to go in round number 10. Kiki Stokes O'Connor, former Nebraska star, with her cause being win for KC. And she zooms in on the draft room here for Team Eberle with their 10th round selection. So another outfielder off the board, the third outfielder for Team Eberle, so that fulfills that requirement for Carrie Eberle, the captain. So after going corner infielder back in round number 8 with round number 9, Taylor Edwards, and now Kiki Stokes O'Connor, the outfielder taken in round number 10 for Team Eberle. And that draft room getting more congested with more players that are getting announced going into their respective teams, and that certainly is an asset for the facilitator and the captain, along with the other voices, as we take a look inside the draft room of Team Zirkle. Outfielder Morgan Zirkle is working with the rest of her teammates to try to figure out which way she wants to go. And this is what she's done so far. Again, started with Rachel Garcia, Sydney Romero, Savannah Jaquish, along with Megan Wiggins, some of the names that have been selected by Team Zirkle, who's using up a good portion of the 2 minutes to make this selection. Again, this is the part of the draft where it gets so much more challenging for these captains because they've got to pick players that they want, but at the same time, they've got to have those requirements filled with the 4 pitchers, 2 catchers, 3 outfielders, 3 corner infielders, and 3 middle infielders. Palacios, Stokes O'Connor, and Leach, the first 3 picks of this round, and so we wait and we hear from Team Zirkle, who is standing by with the final selection of this round.
I'm going with middle infielder, Kaylee Clifton.
Middle infielder Katie Clifton is heading, Clifton is heading to Team Zirkle, a native of Wayne, Oklahoma, with her playing days from the Sooners with Alzheimer's Association. Andrea Filler the middle infielder joining in on the draft room for Team Zirkle. And so back-to-back middle infielders selected in rounds 9 and 10 for Team Zirkle. And so with that, Team Zirkle is going to start off round number 11, but gives us a chance to remind you to stay connected with us at AU Pro Sports. You can always follow us through Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, or right here on YouTube, where the draft special is being held here in week number 1 for the 3rd year of Athletes Unlimited softball. Great action we saw last year. And so now the captains have the tall task of figuring out who they're going to select with round number 11 about to get underway. Just 3 pitchers still on the board, with a couple of outfielders, 1 catcher and Jordan Roberts, 3 middle infielders, and still a host of corner infielders still left to go for these captains to select from. You've got to have 3 corner infielders on your roster of 15 as part of the rules for Athletes Unlimited softball. So Team Zirkle, who's going to start off round number 11, this is the roster that she has had, starting with Rachel Garcia, the number 1 overall pick. And Team Zirkle is standing by and ready to go here to begin round number 11 with their selection.
Corner infielder, Lily Piper.
Lily Piper, a former captain, is taken by Team Zirkle in round number 11. Former Buckeye, with her cause being the American Lung Association. Again, I mentioned this before, but each player is playing for a specific charity cause. With half their leaderboard bonus, it's matched and donated. So Lily Piper, round number 11 is underway. Team Eberly is set to go, ready to go here for round number 11 with her selection.
I'm going to go with my roomie, middle infielder, Kelsey Harshman.
Quite possibly one of the best introductions for a draft pick so far in this week 1 special. Team Eberly with Kelsey Harshman out of Wisconsin, the middle infielder, roomies with Gary Eberly. Those two will be joining up together wearing the blue coming up in round number 11. So Team Chittister wasting no time, ready to go here with her selection in round 11.
Pitcher, Mariah Mazon.
All right, so pitcher is the way that Team Chittister goes for round number 11. Some pumped up action there from Mariah Mazon out of Oregon State, with her cause being Morgan's Message. The righty in the pitching circle, and Amanda Chittister right there saying, let's go. As Mariah comes in on the Zoom, the draft room of Team Chittister will be wearing orange this week for week number 1 here for Athletes Unlimited softball. And again, after Mariah Mazon going there for round number 11, the 4th and final pick ready to go by Team Ocasio.
Okay. Corner infielder, Danielle Gibson.
Danielle Gibson is going to be wearing gold this week, taken in the 11th round by Team Ocasio, the former Razorback. And the corner infielder, the 3rd corner infielder selected by Team Ocasio, so they don't have to worry about any more corner infielders the rest of the way in the final 3 picks for their draft. And so the draft room continues to get even bigger with all these players coming in for those respective draft rooms. And here's who is left on the board. You can see still a number of corner infielders available for captains to make picks on. Pitchers, just 2 along with outfielders. 1 catcher remains in Jordan Roberts. And Abby Ramirez and Riley Bayless, just the lone middle infielders still on the board for these captains to select. And again, automatic drops become a factor now in these latter stages of these drafts to make sure that every captain fulfills those necessary requirements with 4 pitchers, 3 outfielders, 2 catchers, 3 corner infielders, and 3 middle infielders. And just a reminder as well, we will be here on YouTube for the next 5 weeks, giving you all the draft day coverage for Athletes Unlimited Softball. You can tune into the draft each and every Monday for the next 5 weeks, 5 p.m. Eastern, right here on YouTube. Round 12, ready to go. Team Ocasio wasting no time, ready to make her selection to begin this 12th round.
Outfielder Rachel Lewis.
Rachel Lewis will be wearing gold this week, taken in round number 12 by Team Ocasio. Former Northwestern star, Play Like a Girl is her cause, the middle infielder. Joining in for Team Ocasio, we'll get into the draft room in just a moment, but Lewis with the third outfielder selected by Team Ocasio, and with that, Team Chittister ready to go, making her selection.
All right, corner infielder Allie Harrell.
All right, so here we go. Number 12, round 12, going in the direction of Allie Harrell out of Marshall, with her cause also Play Like a Girl. Will be part of Team Chittister this week with games again Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, joining in on the draft room coverage for Team Chittister. And Team Eberly is ready to go here in round number 12 with her selection.
Corner infielder DJ Sanders.
DJ Sanders off the board, heading to Team Eberly with the 12th round selection by Carrie Eberly, the captain, former Oregon Duck, with her cause Boys and Girls Club of the Golden Triangle. So another corner infielder, the third, in fact, for Team Eberly, in on the draft room for Team Eberly, wearing the blue this week. And as we wait to close out the 12th round, here are the respective teams heading into week number 1 this weekend in Rosemont, Illinois for Team Ocasio, Team Eberly, Team Chittister, and Team Zirkel. And we are ready to close out round number 12. Team Zirkel is going to be making the final pick here in round 12.
Corner infielder Courtney Gano.
Courtney Gano, the selection to round out round number 12. Thumbs up by her captain, Morgan Zirkel, out of Washington, with her cause being Women's Sports Foundation. And she wraps up round number 12, and she joins in on the draft room for Team Zirkel. And so 2 spots remain for teams, or I should say for players wearing purple this week for Team Zirkel. And round number 13 starts in the snake draft with Team Zirkel ready to make her pick.
Corner infielder Haley Busby.
Okay, so corner infielder is the way that Team Zirkel wants to go in round number 3. Haley Busby out of Oklahoma State, with her cause being the Trevor Project, a native of Phoenix, Arizona. Busby, as you can see, 3 picks in a row does Morgan Zirkel make with corner infielders to fulfill that requirement for the roster for Athletes Unlimited. So round 13 underway, with just 7 picks remain in this draft in week number 1 for Athletes Unlimited softball season, year number 3. Again, the game's coming up Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And again, as I mentioned just moments ago, 7 players remain to be drafted. Here's the available ones based on their position. You can see with the outfielders, catchers, and corner infielders, just 1 player remains. And as we wait, mentioned before, we're going to go see the action coming up Friday, Saturday, and Sunday from Rosemont, Illinois. It's going to be starting on ESPN2 in the 7 o'clock hour with Team Eberly and Team Chittister. Games on Saturday and Sunday on ESPN Plus and on ESPN2. Team Eberly is ready for round number 13. Let's hear from their captain and selection.
Pitcher Greta Sacchetti.
Greta Sacchetti, one of the veterans, part of a member of Team Italy at the 2020 Games, one of the older players available in Athletes Unlimited in her first year, one of the top national players, in fact, who won 4 European Championship gold medals. A veteran pitcher taken in the latter stages of the rounds out because of injury right now. So she is going to Team Eberly. Team Chittister ready to make her selection here in round 13.
Catcher, Jordan Roberts.
Jordan Roberts off the board and heading to wear orange this weekend in Rosemont, Illinois for Team Chittister. The catcher out of Florida, a native of Florida, in fact. So she is the second catcher selected by Team Chittister, who has one more pick to go in round number 14 as we await Team Ocasio to round out this 13th round. If you take a look at the draft room of Team Chittister, what will they do for their final selection? Again, automatic drops become a factor as well towards these late rounds to fulfill the necessary requirements. And Team Ocasio ready to go and ready for her pick to wrap up round number 13.
Middle infielder, Abby Ramirez. Happy birthday, Abby.
Happy birthday, Abby Ramirez. Happy to hear her name called by Team Ocasio, who's heading to the gold. Team Ocasio, who's Abby Ramirez played at Michigan, so certainly no stranger to wearing the gold, as she is the pick there, and you can see the automatic drop. Right. The first pick of round number 14 to start things off. And Abby Ramirez, the middle infielder, is off the board to wrap up round number 13. And the automatic drop is because what they needed to fill was a pitcher. Maggie Ballin right now is going to be taken number 4, or I should say in the 14th round. Let's hear it officially from Team Ocasio.
Pitcher, Maggie Ballant.
All right, so there we go. Maggie Ballin out of San Diego State, playing for the Boys and Girls Club of the Golden Triangle, wraps up the 14th round for Team Ocasio. Team Chittister is ready to go with her pick in round number 14.
Corner infielder, Sydney Sherrill.
All right, corner infielder Sydney Sherrill is the final pick for Team Chittister. And there you take a look at Team Chittister, what they did from start to finish with their team captain, Amanda Chittister. So Jordan Roberts and Sydney Sherrill, the final two picks for Team Chittister. A look at the draft room as they prepare here for week number 1 coming up this weekend. And so with that, we go to Team Eberly. And with the official announcement by Carrie Eberly, their captain for the final pick.
Middle infielder, Riley Bayless.
Okay, so Riley Bayless. And so Riley Bayless was an automatic drop, fulfilling the position needed to round out the requirements. Again, each team is supposed to have 4 pitchers, 2 catchers, 3 outfielders, 3 corner infielders, and 3 midfielders. And so Riley Bayless fills that as a middle infielder. One final drop in as well. Team Zirkle standing by with the final selection here in this Week 1 draft special.
Outfielder, Nicole Rangel Mendez.
And there you have it, the final pick, Nicole Rangel Mendez out of Oklahoma, a native of Houston, Texas. The automatic drop as Team Zirkle needed an outfielder, and so Rangel Mendez is there as the outfielder, fulfilling that 3rd outfielder needed for Team Zirkle. There's a look at the draft room, and their roster is set heading into week number 1 of year number 3 of the Athletes Unlimited softball season. And with that, let's take a look at the final look at the 4 teams heading into week 1 this coming Friday, with games available on ESPN2 and on ESPN+. Team Ocasio, Team Eberly, Team Chittister, and Team Zirkle. And here's a look at the schedule starting on Friday, with the games starting at 7 p.m. Eastern with Team Eberly going up against Team Chittister. Games on Saturday will be available on ESPN+, and you can watch game on Sunday are seen on ESPN2. All right, so let's take one final look at the respective draft rooms. There is Team Zirkle wearing purple this week. A very formidable opponent for the rest of the teams. A lot of veteran play, a lot of excitement built up for those wearing purple this week in Rosemont, Illinois. Carrie Eberly, Team Eberly. Charlotte Morgan, the facilitator, helping the cause, looking through at the numerous picks ready to go, and the players certainly excited here for week 1 just around the corner. Team Chittister, a formidable opponent this week, representing the Orange. A lot of great players taken throughout the draft by all these teams. Team Chittister ready to go. Look inside their draft room. And the defending champ, Alicia Ocasio, ready to go. The former Gator, pretty happy with the selections that she made, the defending champ. And all smiles and celebration as Team Ocasio is ready to go this week. Again, so all the selections have been made. The 60 players are ready to go with the 4 respective teams, with the coverage starting coming up on Friday from Rosemont, Illinois. For our producer, Jay Levy, and our executive producer, Sherry Kemp, I'm John Brickley. Thanks for watching. Enjoy the games coming up this weekend.